And we are back with more G-senjou no Maou. Let us continue. I paid a visit to Tsubaki's house after finishing work. Sorry for coming over so late. I was in the neighborhood, so I came to check up on you guys. Tsubaki's eyes widened as she looked at me in surprise. Are you going somewhere? Got back from where? Tsubaki mumbled as she gripped her coat's hem. So is your mother doing okay? Was it stress? How about you, Tsubaki? Are you feeling okay? It might be the dim light, but Tsubaki's face looked in desperate need of rest. You're amazing, Tsubaki. I really felt that from the bottom of my heart. Her brother had been kidnapped, the ransom had been taken, and the hostage had still yet to return. The fact that she could still smile was really something. You're a strong person. Tsubaki shook her head, insisting that it wasn't true. Sure. But the house was lifeless. All the kids had probably gone to sleep. There was only her dad in the living room, laying his head on the table in misery. He let loose a greeting with worn eyes. Sorry for the late hours, sir. In stark contrast to Tsubaki's, his eyes looked weak. His face was gaunt. You look really tired. Although that would be quite natural under these circumstances. Maybe Tsubaki was the abnormal one. Huh? She just went to the room there, didn't she? He's probably been depressed the whole time. An awkward silence filled the air. Tsubaki's father spoke softly. Huh? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can imagine. Tsubaki's dad sighed. He almost seemed to be talking to himself. No, Tsubaki's just a truly kind person. Unbelievably kind. By the way, did the kidnapper ever call you back? I changed the topic as Tsubaki returned from the other room. The kidnapper. I see. Has Hiroaki already been killed? Her bright voice didn't quite fit into the atmosphere. It was as if she was somehow sure of it. It doesn't come as a shock that his train of thought would eventually reach that conclusion. Tsubaki stopped her father from picking up the phone. Crap. He stood up in a rush. Looks like he's finally at the end of his rope. Please don't become too impulsive. Tsubaki's father turned red and glared at me. I've kept silent about this up until now. But the truth is, I asked my father to help search for the kidnapper the day after the ransom was taken. Tsubaki held her breath. We're currently searching for Hiroaki through a police acquaintance of my father's. All lies. The possibility of the kidnapper hiding in a remote, condemned site is very high. Investigation is currently in progress. Lies, but I decided to mix in some facts for good measure.
つまり警察の方はもう動いているということかい？
Yeah, but not in an official investigation.
それは本当なんだろうね。にわかには信じがたいよ。
It's true, some old colleagues of my dad and a few private detectives are working on it as we speak. Tsubaki's dad fell silent. Right now, patiently waiting for an outcome would be a better solution than irritating the kidnapper by calling the police.
しかしね。
I'll bring Hiroaki back, I swear. I said this firmly.
お父さん、浅井君に任せてみようよ。
Tsubaki spoke to her father as well, but his grim face didn't seem to relax at all. Seems like his judgment's lagging under extreme fatigue. Finally, Tsubaki's dad silently dropped his head.
少し休ませてもらうよ。
Apparently, he believed my bullshit. Maybe he didn't have the strength remaining to call the police in the first place. Phew. Anyway, I managed to jump this hurdle. But a lie is still a lie. It will only help buy some time. If Hiroaki's still alive, we have to find him as soon as possible.
ごめんね。お父さん、疲れてるみたいで。
I can't blame him. I took a look at my watch and it was already after 12. Well, it's time for me to head home.
もう
I didn't have anything in mind when I stopped by. I hinted to Tsubaki. Call me if you're planning to call the police, okay? Tsubaki's complete trust in me brought a swift reply.
お父さんが謝ったことしようとしたら、今日みたいに止めてもらえるかな。
Yeah, he's a little on edge right now.
それと、ありがとうね。実は犯人を探してくれてたんだね。
No problem. I avoided her eyes and put on my coat. Well, good night. She smiled. You can do it, Tsubaki. Tsubaki's smile didn't seem quite satisfied as I turned to leave. Sure enough, the voice from behind me spoke up again.
待って、浅井君。
Hmm?
もう遅いし、泊まっていく？
You're the last girl I would expect to hear that from. I teased her with the same cheerful voice I always use at school. But Tsubaki didn't understand that it was a joke.
ごめんね。本当言うと、ちょっと心細くて。
Ah, as her father had said, Tsubaki pretends to be cheerful but is actually quite uneasy on the inside. Finally, I've been waiting to see the human side of you.
あ、どういう意味？
Oh, nothing. It would be too much to expect anyone to remain completely normal in the face of this situation. I'll pass on spending the night. We have school tomorrow. I patted Tsubaki's shoulder lightly.
ごめんね、無理言って。浅井君にしかこんなこと相談できなくて。
She looked at me like a pitiful little puppy. Her round eyes seemed to glow in the night sky. Call me if something happens.
うん、
She looked at me, her eyes filled with loneliness.
私も携帯電話持とうかな。
Is that so? It's very convenient, you know.
だよね。いつでも連絡できるし。
Let's go buy one together when all this ends.
買ったら私も一番に浅井君の番号を登録するね。
Hmm? Yeah, alright. I thought Tsubaki looked a touch anxious for a second, but it's probably not a big deal. Well, see ya. I left Tsubaki's house. I looked back when I made a turn and Tsubaki waved at me. To tell the truth, I found it pretty adorable that she watched me walk away.
おいおい、なんだよ。今日は休みが多いな。
The absence stood out. Was there a cold going around?
椿は？
Who knows, maybe she's late.
またなんかあったのか？
Maybe.
マジか。すっかりいい加減警察にポイしちゃった方がいいんじゃねえの？
You don't know the whole story.
事情ってなんだよ。俺だけはぶられてんのかよ。おはようございます。
Usami slowly appeared.
ちょっと宇佐美さん、聞いてよ。はい。椿どうなったの？あれから進展ナッシング？ナッシングです。
So you ran around yesterday for nothing? Usami didn't answer my question, but only lowered her head a bit.
昨日はどうも不快なことを言ったようですみませんでした。
Sure. I wanted to inquire about Usami and Mao's relationship yesterday, but she managed to dodge the subject.
どうしたの？二人とも何分かち合ってるの？いえ、訳ありな事情がありまして。また事情？もういい加減にしてよ。
Eiji was probably annoyed. He left us and started chatting with a group of girls.
なんか悪いこと言いましたかね？
Don't worry about it. Usami's eyes and mine met. So, how did it go?
収穫はゼロです。初日だし、勢いで3軒くらい回ってみようとしましたが、これが大変で。
Yeah.
暗いわ寒いわ怪物は出るわで、気がつい
Monsters.
たら朝日を拝んでいました。
What were you doing?
ガラスとか散乱してますし、いきなり床に大穴が開いてたり、ネズミが運動会してたりと、息をつく暇もなかったですね。
You look worn out.
いえいえ、これからです。
Taking a second look, I noticed there was a bruise on Usami's leg.
まあ、なんとかなると思いますよ。
Usami remained optimistic about the whole thing. Sorry, but I'll be unable to accompany you for the next 2 days. With regards to the property issue, a final negotiation has yet to be made with the Sano Corporation.
いいですよ。では、今日か明日にはひろあきくんを見つけ出すとしましょう。
Where did this courage come from? Why so confident?
今のところ、雲をつかむような手応えを感じてます。
Meaning you can't grasp it at all?
ですね。もう少しヒントがあればなぁとか思いますね。
How about looking over the photo the culprit sent back one more time?
それもそうですね。
The bell rang as we spoke and class started. Usami inspected the photo thoroughly during the entire lesson. Lunchtime. The cold air on the rooftop was more chilling than ever. Tsubaki arrived around this time. Oh, what happened today?
病院に寄ってたんだよ。
To take care of her mother, I guess.
あれ？みんなは？
Kanon's sleeping. Eiichi, I don't know.
はるちゃんは？
The classroom, maybe. She's been staring at that photo all day.
そっか。二人っきりだね。
She looked happy. Anything come up lately? That unnatural feeling from a few days back arose in my mind once more.
何かって、それは浅井くんも知っての通りだよ。
Right, but I wasn't referring to the kidnapping.
ごめんね。昨日も心配かけたみたいで。変かな。
I couldn't really tell you.
昨日も心細くてね。
A shadowed expression crept up to her face. She is unstable. In any case, it wouldn't be wise to conjecture Tsubaki's feelings based on her bright attitude. Would you like to go shopping today?
いいの？
If you keep it to around 30 minutes. There is still time before the negotiation. I'll just hang out with her for a while.
やっぱりやめておくよ。
You're not in the mood? She forced a smile and then let out a sigh of exhaustion.
ごめんね。せっかく誘ってもらったのに。
She tensed up as if she were preparing to say something, but then...
浅井さん。
Usami jogged over to me.
浅井さん、ちょっとこの写真見てもらっていいですかね。
What? How rude.
はるちゃん、おはよう。おう。
Her greeting felt like an afterthought, as if she had almost forgotten in her frenzy.
ひろあきくんの顔がアップで映ってるじゃないですか。
Yeah.
すぐそばに倒れた書棚があるじゃないですか。
Yeah.
今日の私の髪型どうですか？
The same as always. Irrelevant.
すみません。書棚の下に白い書類のようなものが見えますよね。
I squinted at the photo. Just as Usami had said, there was something that looked like a document under the shelf.
これ、なんて書いてありますかね？
Huh? You mean on the paper? I put the picture so close to my eyes that the surface was practically kissing my nose. I can't make it out. It's either terrible handwriting or it's smudged. It doesn't look like something that was written for other people to read. Maybe it's a sheet from a diary or something.
日記といえば、椿はどうだ？
The three of us squeezed together.
あんまり見たくないな。ごめんね。そうか、悪かった。
There's no way she would want to see a picture of her imprisoned brother. What do you think, Usami?
わかりません。 内容は
The content?
はい、これはアルファベットだとは思います。
Roman letters? She was right, it really did look like something written in English.
ここが A で、この辺が J ですね。
It does look that way. Good eye there.
ここちょっと目がっつり開いて見てもらえませんか？
Is that R? P?
なんなんすかね、この RP って。
It's written right there at the beginning, a capital R and a lowercase p.
ダイイングメッセージですかね。
And who do you think would have died there, genius?
まあこの発見がどれほど意味があるかというと微妙なところなんですがね。
Well, that's just great. She's right, it doesn't really seem to be that big of a deal. All we know is that the ruined building where Hiroaki is imprisoned holds English books. We could hardly call it a big step.
もう少し頭をひねってみますわ。ねえ、はるちゃんは何してるの？
Usumi answered with confusion.
もちろんひろあきくんを探してるんだが。やっぱり。
Usumi frowned.
何かいけなかったか
？Tsubaki's lips were quivering.
無理しないでね。気持ちは嬉しいんだけど、なんていうか、はるちゃんは別に探偵さんでも警察の人でもなんでもないわけじゃない。
Usumi looked confused after hearing this, and Tsubaki joined her in awkward silence.
手を引いてくれと言っているのか？ごめん。
Tsubaki lowered her head slightly.
だって、はるちゃんはどうして犯人を捕まえようとしているの？犯人を捕まえなければ、今後第2、第3の誘拐事件が起こるかもしれないぞ。そういう正義感みたいなもので。大口叩いておいて、私は身代金を奪われてしまった。責任も感じている。責任って、そんな、もういいよ。どうしたんだ、椿。私はただ犯人の手からひろあきくんを取り戻したいんだが。
Tsubaki's face changed dramatically at this point. She let loose her suppressed emotion that had been accumulating over time.
はるちゃんは自分のせいでひろあきが誘拐されたと思ってるんじゃないの？
At some point her nervous, wandering eyes had begun to stare straight into Usami.
犯人の動機のことを言っているのか？だってお金が目的ならどうしてひろあきなのかな？どうしてうちみたいに普通の家を狙ったのかな？
I didn't expect this from Tsubaki. Not only did seeing her blame another surprise me, but to find that she had a genuine interest in the criminal's motives.
椿の言う通りだよ。魔王がわざわざ誘拐事件を起こしたのは私を何らかの形で陥れるためだと思う。じゃあ私たちはとばっちりを受けたっていうの？
Tsubaki cried out hysterically. The warm atmosphere of a crowded school in the middle of the day froze in an instant.
ごめん。
Tsubaki's shoulders trembled and she unsteadily covered her mouth.
なんでかな。ごめん。こんなこと言うつもりじゃなかったのに。
Tsubaki's family was suffering from this hardship because of Usami. It somehow brought to my mind the image of a detective in a novel who found murder cases wherever he went. It's not that I don't understand Tsubaki's feelings, but the person she's taking her rage out on should be the kidnapper, not Usami.
私のせいでひろあきくんが誘拐されて、私のせいで家庭が不幸になっている。だからもうこれ以上関わらないでほしいというわけだな。
Usami said this in a surprisingly calm tone. Tsubaki averted her eyes under the pressure.
どうしてそんなきつい言い方するのかな。きついかな。はるちゃんがよくわからないよ。
Tsubaki spoke with her head down and her eyes up as if to judge Usami's reaction.
ごめん、迷惑かけて。自分、教室に戻ります。
With a face which clearly stated there was nothing more to say, Usami walked away. Hey, I called out to the trembling Tsubaki. Have you eaten lunch yet? Let's go eat together if you haven't. Tsubaki remained silent long after my invitation had dissolved into the wind.